everything that you do, God is going to get a baseline to bless. You know, sometimes God doesn't know where to place the blessing, because he wants a platform, okay, to place a blessing. That, you know what, when nakuwa omukisa nkuwadde nti oyogera bulungi nnyo, nti nkuwadde nti oyogera bulungi, nti okwogera obulungi kuno kusobola okusasuza. You can. No managing a business, no managing a business zabalala, no kola amagezi golina no gateka monkola. This generation, yes, we can go search for jobs, by that way you can create your own job and do it. But confidence is so key, because confidence will tell you that, you know what, even when no one believes it, try it. Chirume chigane. Na ye newe chinagana yiye walala. You get it? Gizaako wachiti chigane buganyi. So I really highly commend you for that. And I know that by the way, you're not going to be the same. You are not going to be the same. A lot is going to change. When you're starting out, it's always difficult at the beginning. Difficult. The first step is usually the most difficult. And guess what? When it comes to the middle, it's always messy. Always messy. So if you're doing anything, I want you to stand and ask yourself, am I doing the right thing? The moment things are getting harder, that means you are climbing. So it's messy in the middle. That's when the doubt will set in. That's when that is when your inferiority complex will actually be louder. That is when all your doubts and your fears will scream louder. You'll be like, you know how many people, you know, all these things, the market is saturated. Yeah, mama, like, do you know those questions? And let me tell you, you can have so many whispers. You're getting all those voices. But guess what? There is Sumis who is putting nani or branded stuff on the market. There is one Akolo Bundas, and people will love it. When something is good, people will love it. I know I go to Shell supermarkets because there is a woman that does G-nuts, but that woman does not know her value. Because every time I go there, I guess there are people who like, they are biampeke nene, and they are so nice. But I will go, even when I have everything fully stocked at home. I will njakuchama at a Shell supermarket because of and I was asking myself, how many of us go and bounce? I wish I had her contact, and on her branding, Tekuli, contact. And I was like, I wish I knew her. I would even tell her, if you need more money to boost that business, give me shares in your business. I'll be willing to invest. Do better branding for you. We have a market distribution plan and see how far we can go. Ebinyebwa amaido gebanoga wali nebaga karangako nebaga packaging abantu bakola sente. Okay, so there is nothing. Tewali wongambira nti nze sente ziganya. Abantu bayiribya juice mu town wano. Juice. Fruits. Naddaye kangali nachi? Ngali na sente. Ate, the moment you are exposed to such an environment, ogendo kulabanga, I want us to have the growth mindset. And by the way, this applies to both the corporate system, n'abayiribi ba hustlers, downtown. Buli wolaba opportunity. Yes, bulijo bogabira juice bakola batunda gundi housings and stuff like that. Buza ko housing bazijjawa. So that mutawuni ngoyiriba juice ewamwe ngoteka ya kaduka aka housing. Wanje? Housing bayinza okuba bazitunda 2 5 kale is that I mean kubitano mutwalo, like, you know, you can do something out of it, but the exposure, and that's what I'm saying, seizing the opportunity and saying yes. Because when an opportunity comes and you say, then opportunities keep going. Let me tell you, there are people who are thriving with half the or a quarter of the brilliance you have. Like, they're not as sharp as you are, but they are thriving in this world. Why? Bafuka batomezi. Gambaja chitomera chigani. Even where things don't concern me, I will poke my nose there and find out. Is it possible? It's possible. You know? And you will find someone saying she's a real estate agent and she's making millions of money. Nayenga, Taina any kind of education. There are those people nga bajagu eh? So I don't want you to sit on anything and think I have nothing to do. That, you know, I am jobless. There are so many things to do. Open up your mind and be able to say yes, and say another yes, and say another yes when the opportunities present themselves. I told you about mobile personal shoppers. There are people in offices who cannot shop for themselves. They cannot go to downtown. But if you go to an office, no manyanti omanyi onayambala bwati. Aim for the CEOs, aim for the human resource managers, simanyi all those simanyi managers. Mubuzo yambala kubanga alina bingi. Half the time I know mwami alina abana, alina abakozi ku mulimu, alina, you know, and they will live very boring lives. They drive home to work every day and settle in an office. They don't have time to shop. Nemo omulaba nti ayambala ngoye bweziti n'ojja n'omugamba nti omanyi ninayo bweziti ne bweziti. Buli lwalina pate n'akugamba noonyezaayo kino. And you're making your clean money. The people that are in this city that are making money, they're not making money because they inherited it somewhere. They just opened themselves to opportunity. Ate obukozi bw'essente nagamba tubuggyemu ensonyi. Tewali ssente zeewandikako nti wasimye ettooyi. Wanji? Tewali ssente zeewandikako nti wakubye bugatto. You get it? Eh? Because I've told you that the hardest thing is starting. There are people that have started kulugudo nga bakuba. There is a campuser who told me, right now she's a very huge woman around town. She brings in her own merchandise from China. She started nga kuba bugato kukubo to be able to survive through campus. N'abukuba ne bamukwata obukokola ne banaalwana n'akola ki n'ayiga okwambala, you know, empale nga ttaano, because she was a woman amongst many men. And she was like, I did that from ku street nengenda ku Kijji. Because Kijji bakisaba sente ntono. Nenteekawo ebintu byange. From Kijji to sub-renting. From sub-renting to going to China to bring her own merchandise. So when you see such things happening, there is a world of possibility out there. But you have to be willing to say yes. Abamu kufa ogamba, maama nze ku bulungi bwange ngende nkole kino. Obulungi babulya. Wanji? Obulungi bukwa retirement fund. Buwerera abaana. Hey. Okay, so it's beautiful at the end. That is when you celebrate and say, you know what? I made it through this. I made it through this, and I made it through this. And abamu kufe tugumira kugwe ne tugamba baba yakiyitamu. Naffe tugenda kiyitamu. Okay? How many of us are agreeing and saying, I am going to be an initiator for the rest of my life? I'm not going to wait for things to happen to me. I am going to happen to them. Okay? So I'm not going to wait for jobs to look for me. I am going to go and create them. And it's very possible. Very, very possible. From my personal story, so get into nga sibiyitangamu. I have been through all levels. I know what it means to be at any level. Okay? I have lived all lives. Byenjogera sibijja mu bbanga. But I know it is very possible to grow in an organic way. To never bypass a level. Let me tell you, bono obuuka level. Ne wabaawo ayina kyakutuusizzaako. Eryo eddala bw'alijjawo ogenda kukomawo oyiike. Wanji? So those things of I am wealthy by affiliation. Osmosis. Photosynthesis. That's not possible, Wanji. That is not possible. All over there, even when you are married, they tell you now you have become one. But let me tell you, there are marriages when two become two. You've never seen them. Oyo nakugamba ennyumba yange. Ojja gifuluma. You've not heard about those things. Only nagaba motoka yange. There is a woman who literally told me, and that lady was very knowledgeable, a high-class woman, high-profile woman, and because we've been told to be less of ourselves, to be accepted by some men, so she had become less of herself. Guess what? The man was in her business, the man was driving her car, but she could not make up in that car. Like you're rushing at home to leave home, and maybe you're saying, let me go and make up in the car. The moment she popped up her mirror, the man would tell her, you know what, ngenda kukomya wano. Gendo nonye jone kolerako. ojja kunsangayo. The man works in the parents' business, the girl's parents' business, driving her car. And she would get off, n'alinya boda, n'amusangayo. Kakati, if he had bought that car, yandimukiriza n'ogiyingiramu. Wanji? Togirinyamu. So, my friend, kola ebibyo. Wanji? Mukama bw'akuwa omuntu omulungi nga mugatta, nga mukulaakulana. Wanji? Bw'otandika okulaba ebitakwatagana mu relationship, ng'ogamba wembirabidde kati. Tugende wali tufuuke basatu. Tugenda kukola tutya. Sigenda kukaaba bukaabi. Okay? So, let's, someone has a microphone? Yes, my dear.
Because as in you don't want to be like Wananga, abantu are setting up goals. Like, okay, let me put something. Okay, let me put something. But there was nothing. It was just things that I wrote. So when I look back, like at the beginning of the year, this is not where I thought I would be. I remember the first time I came, I talked about the very many things that I had done. Of course, now I've added on, I'm a coach. But
that is a huge achievement.
Yes.
I've literally seen you do things that I don't think you would have done.
Yes.
If you had not taken.
So, I have not arrived, actually. This is not where I want to be. Am I happy with the achievements? Yes. But I have become more hungry because I have discovered my potential. That I can do more. Oh, I can actually do that. That's beautiful. Oh, I can actually do that.
I didn't know you did graphics.
Yes, I also did.
This woman does graphics. But I also didn't know. You surprised yourself.
I surprised. Okay, there are things that I know I can do, but I choose to just put them in the pocket somewhere until maybe somebody needs me, and then I come out. But now I even added on graphics, guys.
Mm-hmm. And beautiful graphics.
Beautiful graphics. And now, I remember you told me that I have to look through all those things that I've been doing and I have to find something. I have to go try to experience this place, experience that place. And you guys, the most important thing when you're choosing what to do is you have to pray. Because God will lead you. You might think this is better, and then God might lead you somewhere different. So, I remember I started doing makeup. You told me to go and find somewhere to do something. And I was in the salon department. I did some hairstyling. I did some makeup. But as I was praying for it, I started getting clients for totally different things. I told you that I also, I do fashion and design. I did fashion and design with Dina Vince. I don't know if you know her. Mm. So, but that one, I also kept it. If people would come and tell me, but you make dresses, can you make for me? I would make for you. Like, you actually make nice things. So, after you telling me, I prayed about it, you actually, guys, this place has a certain spirit of getting unstuck. As in, when you come here, you feel like you have a lot of work to do. Where will you start? But things will just start getting unstuck by themselves. So I started getting, people would call me, Vero, I need you to make for me. My girl has a birthday, want to do a photo shoot. Can you make those, these beautiful gowns for kids, little girls, girls. So I'm like, oh, yeah, those ones I can make. And ever since, I think I've made about 15. Wow. And people have been contacting me. I need a girl. There's a dress you did for this one. I also need for my girls. And I thought about it. I was like, hey, God, are you showing me something? Recently, I got a client from California. Mm-hmm. She had a wedding. Her wedding was last weekend. And she told me, I want you to make for me my flower girls dresses. So I was like, in California, of course, they had nice dresses, really. She told me, Vera, I want to support you. And then I told her, so how many flower girls do you have? I thought she'd tell me maybe 2 or 3. She told me, I have 7. So I started making. And every week she'll tell me, she'll send me a picture. I've added on this one. At the end of that time, I think she had 10 flower girls. And I made all those dresses. Wow. And I sent them. Mm-hmm. So
we're becoming really international.
You know, you begin thinking you're going to be here. My friend, if you're praying about it, God will show you that you can actually do.
Great.
You can fly. Yes, thank you for that. So now, as I've been like working on, I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, God, is this what you want me to do? And I am working on my brand. Actually, it's going to be a kids clothing brand. And I'm going to make those actually the dresses that I've made, also their mothers say, I want a matching dress. So now I start to also work on the mothers, but I want to make a kids clothing brand. And by the end of this year, I'll have a brand out there. I got some space. I want to do my workshop, a showroom, beautiful things. You know, I like beautiful, cute things. Yeah, and I'm working on that. And I am so excited. It excites me. I just love it. Even talking about it, I feel a lot of love. So I am sure by the end of this year, I'll have a brand out there. Then also, now that I'm a coach, I've also been working on a brand. It's called Soul Food by VTN. VTN is Veronica Trisha Namlondo, my name. And it's basically a growth space. I know there are people that I share stories with, and I want us to grow together. I want us to develop. I want us to talk. I want us to share. And yeah, you can talk to me. It's a brand that I'm also growing, and by the end of this year, it's something that will be out there. So I'm grateful, Hilda, a lot for this platform.
Sometimes you feel like, you know what, issues, but I don't have issues. And then you even become more empathetic, like you start stepping in people's, so you get to know that you shouldn't take things personal. People are going through stuff, and all they need is to extend grace, okay, and to cut them some slack. And then you get explanations of sometimes why Bahati deals with toxic people and narcissistic people the way she does. You know, and why she feels anger, why people treat others like that. So you get to know the background, you know, stories, to know that, you know what, this anger is not just on top. It is something that is boiling inside, and she would love more people to actually be free. So we've said focus on one thing, okay? Make sure that you focus on that one thing. I want you to get it. I don't want you to spread yourself so thin in these 2 months. I want you to be able to say, if I achieve this, this is going to actually change a lot in my life, okay? And one of the things that I managed to do, I think that was last month, when I was asking myself, what is that one thing that I can do that is actually going to change so much about me in 2022? It was money handling for me. And so this is what I did. I decentralized all my money handling. I think some of the people that I told to handle my money, or the money, I think they kept asking, why is she giving me this? Why is she giving me this responsibility? But I took away for all the courses, all the books, everything that I do, I decentralized handling of money, and I took it away from myself. Because when it's centralized on me, nganinechi sachinji. You get it? But it must be planned for, and you must have managers that tell you that, by the way, this account is depleted, now we are handling this account. So if we are planning to do more production of books, we need 10 millions in January. And so you have the forecast and a team of people that are telling you, you know what? Speed control, you know, you can't just run like that. You know, when you're managing everything yourself, you feel like you can be a Spider-Man. You can be everywhere and do everything. And that is what I've been doing when it comes to all the money streams that I've actually been doing, apart from my personal work and the things that I handle personally. Okay? Number 2, it's time to close the chapters and turn the page on some people in our lives. Time to close the chapters and turn the page. Okay? The thing is, we have vampires all around us, bloodsuckers, draining, okay? And there is nothing that they are contributing, actually not just contributing, but they are draining even the little that you have inside of you, okay? That means you can never be a genius. You can never, because there are people who are feeding off that, or there are people who are just pulling you down to make sure that you are at their same level. You know, there are people that will never be happy when you're growing. There are people that, because they're thinking, why is she daring to leave us at this level? We should also pull her down. So they will do everything around you to make sure that they raise the hell. And so before you know it, you are soaked into quenching the fire and fire extinguishing, and you are forgetting that you have a purpose to walk to. You're forgetting that you have a destiny to walk to. You're forgetting that one goal that you want to do to change your entire life in 2020. Why? Because you are busy reacting to everything that is around you. Ate this girlfriend said this. Ate oli yewoza olugoye teyalukomezaawo. Ate oli yagambye simanyi baawo bamukola batya. Ate, you know, there's so many things around us. So I want you to be very deliberate, very deliberate. And I wrote this quote deliberately to just share it with you, that love yourself enough to avoid people who make you feel bad, projects that steal your genius, and you will realize them, that kino nkikutte nkikola naye kimmalamu bumazi. Naye waliwo projects pumping up your adrenaline. You become more enthusiastic. Have you heard what Vero says? When she was starting, she told us about makeup, and she told us about something else. But little did we know that she would turn out to be the designer that she wants to be, to even have a clothing line. And Vero, you have us parents. You know, every parent wants their daughter to be a princess. So if you talk to them nicely, like I have bought Bugato from here, someone comes with Bugato wa green, nangamanti, Bugato baby wo, you know, I can make Bugato for your baby, and I'm like, bring Bugato. You get it? So talk to people nicely. All parents here, we want our children to look the best, and they want to be princesses, okay? So you have to make sure that you avoid people who make you feel bad, okay? The projects that steal your genius, and actions that dishonor your greatness. The actions that dishonor your greatness. That one, I felt it on my heart so much. That you are on this journey climbing to your greatness, but not everyone is supposed to arrive with you at your destination. Not everyone. So some people are going to cut themselves off. Abeko kyakwogerako ekibi ogambe nti oyo akoma wano. Wanji? Yefule owakabi ennyo akumanye ennyo abeko wakoma. Wanji? No, because you're not going to climb with everyone. I am sorry. You have to be selfish. On your journey of growth, sometimes you have to be selfish. If you're not offending anyone, if you're not insulting anyone, okay? You're not offending or insulting anyone. And offending enda na chijamo, because just your growth is going to offend people. So if you're not verbally insulting them, if you're not stepping on their toes, but even stepping on their toes, your growth is going to step on people's toes. They're going to feel pain. So if it means that you grow, offend some people and step on their toes. Not by insulting them. Okay? It's not something you go out outrightly and say, okay? You decide that. But you can say, you know what? I am going to stop for it. I'll just give an example. Maybe you've had a girls' hangout every Friday, okay? And then you decide and you're like, you know what? I'm going to alternate these Fridays, or I'm going to start cutting back on the time that I hang out so that I can be able to concentrate on something that I'm building. Right? Now, all your clique is going to say, ye fula wa kabi, aloza yo omugeze nnyo. Kale tujja yepanka tujja mulaba gyagenda okoma. Ye abasajja bagenda omukwana bagenda musanga munju. You know, like they will say all sorts of things. But that should go ahead and prove to you, babadde tebalina gye bakutwala. Oba babadde tolina gy'ogenda nabo. Even if it's guys. When a guy comes, natandika, you know, tapping on someone's, you know, bam bam, and then you're like, you know what? A gentleman never does that. Bw'oba omwagala mukwane bulungi, muagale bya bulungi. But those things of being like a goat and a hen and a what? And you get it? Definitely, they're going to gang against you. They're going to say, he's not man enough. Why? Because you can't do what they are doing. Okay? So if you're not man enough, that means you don't fit in that clique. So it's time to close some chapters and turn the page. Your greatness lies somewhere else. It's not going to lie with the people that you've been liaising with, especially those that have been draining you and pulling you down. When someone tells you, Ndio manyi, guma, you go to them with their problems, issues, marital, guma. They are not even giving you any skills to actually be able to survive and cope. No, I'm dealing with the wrong crowd and I'm flying with the wrong birds. Some of you are supposed to be eagles, but you're flying with hens. A hen will tell you guma, but an eagle will tell you genda we yubule kunsozi okomeongo limupia. Right? There is a difference. A hen will tell you eat worms. An eagle will tell you I killed my own prey and I eat it. Okay, fresh. Exactly. I love you. Okay? And a hen will tell you, you can only deal with the Bintwebya-Wansi. But an eagle will tell you, my friend, I deal with the highest mountains. That is when, Mbaza, I know what I want. I have an eyesight that is so peculiar and so clear. I know what I want. Okay? And that is when you'll say, kanonye coach, kanonye counselor that is trained for that particular thing, who will actually look at both sides and be able to tell us where to go from here and to see whether we can actually make a good marriage. Because there are people that have been influenced to build bad marriages. And by the way, when they come, because me I call a spoon, and especially for the guys, they don't want the truth. Because half the time the men will come and tell me, mulese omuteke mulaini. Nemagamba, kale, katuwulirize gw'oteeka mulaini. Netumuwuliriza mga nawe njagala obeere waawo netumuwuliriza bwe tumala omuwuliriza n'omubuuza gw'olina kizibu ki nti nze ndi bulungi oyo gwe naleese naye nga byonna bye yabadde ayogera ono abadde akomplaininga kw'oli ali obulungi naye aleese ono bamutereeze tomanyi kifo kyo olina kuteeka mazzi mu lulimi osirike nina okuvuma nkukube nyende nga bwe njagala kubanga ndi musajja. And the ego in a certain women does not allow that. Saying that, you know what, no, I have stayed on this, at this point for the longest time. Not anymore. Forget the girl that you knew. I am now a woman that knows what they want. So such a woman, when they go to a coach, and a coach will tell them that, by the way, you don't have to break your marriage, but there are things you have to fine tune. Love yourself more. Make your own money. Look good. Mind your business. Wanji? And someone will come looking for you. Baba chawa because you mind other people's businesses. Like seriously. Na omwekubako nnyo, omuliko nnyo, ukola chi, you know? Nagamba oyo gyali kifufu wange. You know? So andi munkwawa kantunulire bali abali eri kati they are the new coaches. Okay? But a coach, a trained coach, a trained marriage therapist will train you how to look good and look fresh and mind your own business. Not even to look fresh to get his attention, because that is a dead end. Because after getting his attention, then what? Ajja kulabako for 1 week, achamuke muko, amale addeyo, akole ebibya agambe yakyaliyo omu. Because half the time we go back to our old habits. Kwe kuba ku bantu, kukaaba nnyo maziga, kwe kunkumula, you know, katugendeke wa pasta, katugendeke wani, sigambye nti okugende wa pasta chibi. But sometimes if you don't have strategy, n'abasumba mukoyeza babwerere. Like seriously. If you don't have a strategy, omukoyeza bwabwere, bakubuuza bakola ki ogamba abikubuulire nze munnange si. Ne confidence tolina, okay? So it's time to close certain chapters. And by the way, even in marriage, you can close certain chapters, not by leaving your marriage, but okwe you will into a new human being.